When the giant of fear looms large in my life, Psalm 16 verses 8 and 9 are a refuge for me. And I just pray and I hope that they can be the same for you guys, especially when we're facing such an uncertain time as this. It says this: I have set the Lord always before me, because he is my right hand. I shall not be shaken. Therefore my heart is glad and my tongue rejoices, and my body rests secure. You see, this verse is a great reminder that God is present in our lives too. You see, that term right hand in the Old Testament, it meant a place of value, a place of honor, a place of intimacy. You know, the equivalent for us, for believers in Jesus, would be Galatians 2:20, which says, I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. You see, it's a great reminder that Jesus lives in us when giants taunt us. When we're in the midst of a raging storm, Jesus is our right hand, and we will not be shaken. And therefore we can respond as David responded in verse 9 by saying, therefore my heart is glad and my tongue rejoices and my body rests secure. The giant has fallen, the battle is won. Our God is able. Our job here, guys, is to not take our eyes off Jesus. Keep focused on him. See, when Jesus is in view, when he is in the forefront of our minds, worship can flow unobstructed from our mouths. Seeing Jesus makes our hearts glad and restores rest. With our eyes fixed on him, we cry out, you are in control. Can you remember ever being lost in a shop when you were a kid? I can so clearly. I'd be so bored in a shop like Debenhams, which my mum is dragging me to, so I'm hiding in between all the clothes racks. I'm really small at the time, although I'm not much taller now, to be honest. But I'd be hiding in there, and I'd be keeping an eye on my mother, I'd be keeping an eye on her, but then all of a sudden, I lose track of where she is. And I just start to panic. I start to get myself all worked up, and I start to cry. And then I can hear her voice, and I turn around and I see her again. And I get that overwhelming feeling of peace. You see, the funny thing is, all that time, she never took her eyes off me. You see, when I refocused and I saw where she was, it was like, there you are. That is what it's like to rest secure. And that is the same invitation from God, to be constantly aware of his presence. When we purposely focus our attention on Christ, we are reminded of those incredible truths that God is able. We know that he is always with us, and that he is always, always good. Fear, just remember, is putting your trust in your circumstances. Faith is putting your trust in your sovereign Saviour.